I'll try.
No, you're great. I'm going to start the music up.
Now arrives the hour of action.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
For depriving us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury.
To subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution and unacknowledged by our laws.
All experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed.
But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
We mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
And we're going to take our country back from these people.
We are back. I apologize for that. Everything shut down. When the screen shut down, I was hoping maybe there would be some magical way that they just turned back on, but there was no way to turn them back on unless I shut everything down. Now my graphic cards are hot again, but they're getting a constant influx of below freezing temperature. I just cracked the window a little bit. So Chris is back with us, and Niati is back with us. So we're going to get right into this now. We had a nice conversation. I don't know how much of it you heard or saw on the previous broadcast, but welcome again to Judiciary Saturday Nights Take 2. Almost an hour later. All right, Chris, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for calling back in. Niati, you are with us. I can see you on the screen.
Okay.
But I won't put you on the screen. I just see you on the screen.
Okay.
On my screen. So let's get right into it this time. Here is your question again. Question number 1, Niati. Here we go.
It is entirely within the power of those who establish and adopt the Constitution to make any of its provisions self-executing.
So, what is a self-executing provision? A, automatically deleted. B, effective when written by the court. C, effective when written by legislation. D, removed upon request.
C for Charlie.
Which one?
C for Charlie, for legislation.
Let's see here. That is correct. Let's play the video answer.
That is operative without any necessity for further legislation, such as the Bill of Rights.
So, I thought that there was more to that, but more to that answer. But any document or legislation that is effective immediately without the need of interventing court action, ancillary action, or other type of implementing action. So, as soon as it is written into law by legislation, it's automatic, like the Bill of Rights. Those rights are automatic. Unfortunately, I would have also taken upon request, because you, at this point, because of the damage the lower courts have done to our society, you need to you need to hold their feet to the fire. They're creating their own laws that violate our civil rights. And without asking for them to look at the Bill of Rights, they won't. They won't do it. The lower courts, specifically family court, is an illegal court system that shouldn't even exist. And if you have a court system that violates the fundamental laws of our country, you would think that it would immediately be stopped. But because it brings in so many billions of dollars, it has become the leading source of revenue for legislation. And to the point where if you are a judge in one of these lower courts doing the right thing, you will find yourself ixnayed, kicked to the curb, and legislation will appoint a new judge or magistrate that will generate more revenue. So congratulations, Niati. You got that one correct. This next question is for you, Chris. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
So if anything in your state constitution comes in conflict with the supreme law of the land, it is repugnant. It is void. Okay?
And what does the Constitution call those guidance documents? We've discussed this.
So that was Kirk Pendergrass and Chris Hallett. Great team. I love producing that show because it's strictly information. And a lot of times arguments ensue between Chris and Kirk, and recently myself and Kirk regarding religion, and that was hilarious. I'm sure we got a lot of views, and I saw that there was a lot of comments from it, but I never checked the comments. But anyways, what they were talking about is guidance documents, and what Chris is specifically asking is, what is another term for a guidance document? Sorry. A, House bills. B, Senate bills. C, bills of rights. Or D, bills of attainder. Chris.
Can you ask me the question one more time?
What is another term? And I can even play the video if you'd like again. Just let me know.
Well, I can barely understand the video. So.
Yeah, I know. I'll play the video one more time and see if you pick up on it, because there is some right in the middle there when Chris starts talking. It's a little jarbled because of the Zoom algorithm. But here we go.
Okay.
Here's the video again.
So if anything in your state constitution comes in conflict with the supreme law of the land, it is repugnant. It is void. Okay?
And what does the Constitution call those guidance documents? We've discussed this.
He's saying, what does the Constitution describe these guidance documents? We have discussed this, he said. So what is another term for a guidance document, Chris? A, House bills. B, Senate bills. C, bills of rights. Or D, bills of attainder.
Bills of rights?
Let's check the video answer. Is that your final answer?
Well, it was either C or D. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with that being my final answer. It's probably wrong, but we'll try it.
All right, let's go to the video answer.
Bills of attainder, right?
Article 1, Section 9, and Section 10. Bills of attainder, bills of pains and penalties. The shortest definition out there is legislation, comma, punishment. So if there's any legislation that prescribes punishment, that's a bill of attainder. Can you think of any statutes out there that have been created that prescribe punishment?
Damn near all of them.
Right. Imagine that. So those are guidance documents, which is what Jeff Sessions just put an end to.
So you are You are close. You know, the questions, it's hard to come up with incorrect questions because it deters you. So what guidance documents are not bills of rights. Guidance documents generally steer you down a wrong path. And so attainder, I need to make this screen a little bit bigger, bear with me. Attainder, the forfeiture of land and civil rights suffered as a consequence of a sentence of death for treason or felony. A legislature declaring a person or group of persons guilty of some crime and punishing them, often without a trial. As with attainder resulting from the normal judicial process, the effect of such a bill is to nullify the targeted person's civil rights, and even the right to life itself. Bills of attainder passed in Parliament by Henry VIII on January 29th, 1542, resulted in the executions of a number of notable historical figures. Now, remember, this is interesting. Henry VIII is also the person who signed the Magna Carta exactly 30 years prior. So this king is trying to control his subjects any way possible, just as the courts are doing to us now. We're watching the exact same thing repeat from 1512 through 1542. We're seeing the exact same thing now, and finally Sessions says we're done with guidance documents. It's over. We're no longer following guidance documents or bills of attainder or bills of pains and perjury. It's illegal to do so. But we're always going to have people like Henry VIII who, unless we continue to back them in the corner, they being the lower courts, will continue to try and violate our civil rights and violate our law. The lower courts will continue to violate our law. Hello, Holly. You're with us, so just hang out with us until the end of the game, and we'll do some chatting. So welcome to Judiciary Saturday night. Excuse me. All right. Niati, are you ready for your second question?
Yeah, give me easy one.
All right, this will be an easy one. I think this is the last. I'm not sure which one this is. We might be going right into The Watchmen with Randy Davis on this one. I'm not sure. But here it is.
I missed last episode of Watchmen, but I'll go for it.
It's fun. And these were all, everything from The Watchmen, Brenda Johnson put together for this show. I can't thank her enough. Like I said, if it wasn't for her help, I was thinking about not doing a Wheel of Judiciary this week. But she's always there, even though she's going to school, going to law school. She always finds time to give me a hand, and she's awesome. I can't thank her enough. And she's going through a lot of her own problems too. Just recently had to move. I won't get into all of that. She's not having an easy time right now, and still helping everybody she can, and helping me with the show as well. She's great. All right, here's your second question.
I was thinking, why all these different names? Why all these different acronyms like CFE, CME, DSS, CPS, WCHS?
So this part of the show, we will be getting into more or less opinions. So what is the reason for the many names of Child Protective Services like CPS, DHS, DSS, DHR, DFS, according to Randy Davis? A, court identification. B, caseworker state code. C, to confuse us. Or D, to rev it up. Bye, Brenda.
I think it's B. B for boy.
Caseworker state code?
Yeah.
Let's check the video answer. Oh, where is it? There it is.
Look, here's to confuse you. It is to confuse you and to talk above your head.
Yeah, so what he's saying, and this is what I've found as well, to confuse the general public. So CPS is stealing children for profit. I don't care what website you go. You know, I've done enough research to find a lot of websites that say, oh no, there's no bonuses in CPS. We're not getting money from stealing children. We're not stealing children. Oh, well, that's a flat out lie. It is incentivized. You steal a children, you get $20,000 a month, whether your name is CPS, DSS, DFS, any of it. And it may not be happening in every town, but it is happening more and more because there is a bonus for kidnapping. There is a reward. Anyone who tells you different is what Randy says, whore of the court, male or female. Research your local CPS and keep an eye on them. Every time they change their name, they are dodging public scrutiny, period. There's a reason why there's so many different names. It's because once the public is all over them, they change their name, the public sees another story, and just for whatever reason disregards the fact that they still exist, but they're just under a different name. It's one of, I mean, that right there shows the usurpations of CPS and why it needs to end and be rebuilt. There needs to be a system that helps children who are being neglected and abused, absolutely. But if those children have extended family, grandparents, uncles, aunts, it should not take more than 24 hours for those children to be placed in extended family. If it takes more than 24 hours, then somebody is making money. It's as simple as that. And the fact that they don't go to extended family is because they only get the incentives, the $20,000 per month per child, if the child stays in CPS custody or if they are placed with a foster parent, usually a stranger. This is why most of us are saying that CPS needs to be abolished and rebuilt. Another way to say it is CPS needs to be reformed. But the way CPS agents are trained right now to violate your civil rights, to violate your human rights, to violate your fundamental rights, I mean, the way CPS is practicing, I mean, they are, by all fundamental purposes, asking you to remove an appendage. You know, it is your fundamental right to grow hair or to have a foot or have a hand. And I would much rather give one of those to them than my son.
Right.
And the fact that they are allowed, that a court system is allowing, or the states or legislation, a governor is allowing this organization to remove people's fundamental rights, it's unheard of. It is treasonous. The people who do so are committing treason, and under the Constitution should be put to death for doing so. So if you are a whore of the court, a social worker, a GAL, or anybody working for CPS violating people's civil rights, human rights, fundamental rights, be warned, because justice is coming.
Yes.
And you're going to pay for it, because a tort claim, a civil rights claim, doesn't matter if you did it intentionally or not.
Correct.
You are still violating people's rights, and you will be held accountable. So if somebody is asking you or or recruiting you to be a GAL or a therapist or social worker, tell them no, because you're going to pay for it. You're going to spend a lot of time in jail. All right, anyways. Chris, are you ready for your second question? On.
Yes, sir.
Judiciary Saturday nights. Here we go.
And the whores of the court, they're both men and women. Let's get that out of the way before I'm a woman-hater or something. The whores of the court, it can be pretty much anybody. And I'm going to give you a list of who they are, no matter where you are.
All right, so Randy Davis's definition of, quote, whores of the court, men or women: A, social workers or agents of the court; B, government; C, Social Security Office; D, Department of Transportation. Again, thank you, Brenda Johnson, for putting this together.
That would be A.
Right.
That is correct. Let's go to the video answer. And it's not coming up. There we go.
The pimp is the government. The whores are the agents. Which brings me to one of my first whores of the court, which is what's called the social worker.
There we go. Whores of the court, social workers, GALs, therapists, and other agents of the court are trained to break law based on guidance documents written by CPS. And I shared one of CPS's guidance documents, and it was so vague and ridiculous, adding so many native cultures into the list, as well as child sex trafficking, saying that they will be updating a description of, sex trafficking risk factors, but they never gave a description. And so all of a sudden, out of the blue, we really didn't hear, or at least I didn't hear, a lot of different sex trafficking accusations through CPS until that guidance document came out. And then all of a sudden we had those sisters, the Mound sisters, who are really big on YouTube. All of a sudden, they removed those children based on sex trafficking. But there was no sex trafficking. They even charged the mother with sex trafficking, but since there was no sex trafficking, they charged her with her lower crime, indecent exposure, and she never exposed herself. I mean, it's insane. They're saying, okay, you guys go get kids based on this, and we'll give you a definition maybe sometime in the future. And they never gave a definition. It's absolutely insane. And this is why Jeff Sessions put an end to guidance documents. People should not have their kids ripped out of their lives. People should not spend a freaking minute in jail based on a guidance documents that breaks your civil rights, your human rights, your fundamental rights. And this is generally what guidance documents do, and that's why Jeff Sessions said it's over. So congratulations, Chris. You got that one correct.
Thank you. I know personally in my case, my caseworker typed up a false document and said it was from CPS, and it wasn't. And I turned her in, and nobody did anything about it. They still took my child. I've been spending thousands in court to see my son. I got a 4.5-year-old, and I just started seeing him here a month ago. It's sickening what they do.
It is, and that whole perjury thing just, what, less than a year ago now, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 months ago, we all saw that video. There was a case where CPS actually brought it to the higher court, asking whether or not they can commit perjury in court. And the judges, of course, said, are you out of your mind? Of course you can't commit perjury. And the CPS lobbyists said, well, it's not really determined in case law whether we can lie and be held accountable for the lie or not. So what was happening is they're lying, they're creating falsified documents like Chris just mentioned, to get the kids to receive the incentives, and then during the procedure, or even if it's found that they're lying before it's even submitted, since it's to the lower court, you can't do anything about it. They know that. They know that they'll be able to remove your kids, and to charge them, or to go up against this falsified document. They know it'll take you time. You won't be able to do it in that court. You'll have to go to a higher court to charge them with perjury. They'll already have your kids. And by that point, you're so upset. You're losing your mind that this is even happening. You go to court saying, you guys are freaking crazy. They turn it around on you saying, you're crazy because you can't control yourself. Well, fuck you, assholes. You just fucking took my kid. You took my child based on lies. You want me to be cool, calm, and collected? No, what I'd like to do is put a fucking bullet in your head. Are you fucking crazy?
Exactly.
And also,
they don't seem
of a next motion to appear. So, we are not smart lawyers. So we start working on the next step, and we lose all the time and all the information, and our child is removed.
These people are blatantly kidnapping children. And in law, it says, if you commit treason, including kidnapping, you will be put to death.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Kudos, Ted. I agree.
So,
I like the bullet in the head thing.
Well, I think about, luckily, my own situation, I haven't had to deal with CPS, but I think that is God.
I don't know if any of us really did. Did we?
Well, I think that's God saying that, if I had, I don't think I'd be alive. There was no way I'd let anybody take my kids, whether they had a warrant or not.
Amen.
Well, I just found out, I guess I've been on it for 2 years. Me and Brenda's been talking here for the last couple weeks.
Great.
And I told her about it. But I just found out here recently that for 2 years, and now understand, I have never been charged with a crime of child abuse or child neglect, or nothing's ever been said about it. I'm on a child abuse neglect registry, where I went to get a job here just a couple months ago, and it showed up that I had abused or neglected a child. And I called CPS and asked them, and they said, well, you need to come in. I've never been served with papers, nothing like that. So now I'm getting my stuff together, and I'm going to be filing a lawsuit against CPS because they didn't follow due process. I sent them an email and told them that. It's a mess. I couldn't believe it. I'm just appalled.
They took your children and destroyed your livelihood. They completely destroyed your life.
But the sick thing about it is I just started seeing my son again, my 4.5-year-old, a month ago. And here within the next couple months, I'm going to have him back for normal visitations and stuff. And the CPS thing, you'd think if I really did it, that they wouldn't let me see my son.
Right. Well, that's what they do. The same thing as Brian Kinter, who spent $3 million to get his daughter back. They said that he touched her inappropriately. When asked how did he touch her, he said, I've never touched her. I mean, beyond spanking or changing a diaper, that's the only way I've ever touched her. And from him saying those two things, they said, well, it's possible that he might touch her in the future. Therefore, we're keeping your children, keeping your daughter.
Well, I know where mine came from. I just submitted, I've been trying to submit these pictures into evidence, but I just finally got them submitted, fighting with the clerk of the courts. 83 pictures of my son with bruises, black eyes, second-degree burn marks, missing toenails, missing fingernails.
Oh my God.
All before he was a year and a half old, and it all came while he was in his mother's care. I've had state police in my house, sheriffs from 2 different counties, and no one will do anything. And somehow they got this all turned around on me, even though I got the time, date, and stamped. But now that I just submitted it in court, and I gave the objection to Brenda Johnson and let her read it. I called the judge out. I called the caseworkers out, told them all what they were doing by neglecting my son, and I submitted them pictures. And now I went into court this last time, and like I said, I'm starting to see my kid now. He's a whole different judge.
That's fantastic. So you should have a very easy time in the higher court. Even the most damaging cases I've seen, the redress received is very little. They'll pay for what happened in Texas recently is they ended up paying for the court fees, the lawyer fees, and all of that. But it doesn't stop there. They ruined lives. I mean, CPS should be put out of business by the amount of money they should be paying out from the lives they destroyed, and we'll get there. We're going to get there. If we can't get the American people, the general public, to help us end this life-destroying system, then we'll end it through litigation with the help of people like Connie Reguli. It's a horrible story, Chris. I'm glad that you're seeing your son. And
no, thank you. He's ecstatic too.
Yeah. Well, we have 2 more questions to go.
Okay.
Niati, are you ready for your 3rd question?
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
So, think about how this equates to family court. Whenever it comes in, and look, if you'll notice, I'm not even busting the judges that hard. I've actually seen some good judges this week, but you know what? A judge can only judge.
So, on what does a judge base his or her decisions? A, who has the most money. B, the state in which the person resides. C, the person's age. Or D, the evidence put before them. Again, this is another question by Brenda.
D for David, evidence put before them.
Let's go to the video answer.
But you know what? A judge can only judge that which is put before him. The problem that we face is evidence. Evidence and laws, statutes. These policies get commingled in there. And when you go in there, if a judge only sees what DSS paid for him to see, or her to see, how can a judge rule any other way?
Right, so remember, judges are not always listening to your testimony in the lower court. They generally want to be there as much as you do. And according to a lot of people, like what Rod McCall said a few months ago was, what they say is they have their own family. They have all these other cases they have to write reports on. So while you're testifying, they are finishing up reports, even texting their own family. And a lot of this caseload would go away simply by having private contracts between a married man and a married woman, between the couple. Caseload would go down dramatically. Over the course of 5 years, my estimate would be 95%. But make sure you file all of your written evidence at least 2 weeks before you go to court, before you go into court, before you go to trial. Because then they have no excuse. If they don't have the evidence written down in front of them beforehand, they could just say, well, I never saw it. You don't want to rely on the short amount of time you have in front of the judge. You want to make sure the judge has all that information at least a couple of weeks beforehand, So they can't say, like what they did to me, oh, well, you didn't file it in time. You can file it in time, sure. But the judge doesn't care. That doesn't give them time to see it. If you have a deadline on anything, make sure you file it 2 weeks prior to that. Think of that deadline as 2 weeks before. It's just a good piece of advice. So congratulations, Niati. Chris, are you ready for your last question?
Yes.
Here we go.
You know, I've had people tell me, you know, well, money makes people, it changes people. It makes them mean. I said, no, it doesn't. I've worked for some millionaires, and they're wonderful people, not because they had the money, but here's what money does.
So, the love of money is the root of all evil. How does having a substantial amount of money change a person, according to Randy? A, they win all of their court cases. B, family court will not bother them. C, it makes you more of what you already truly are. Or D, they can quickly become a judge. By Brenda Johnson.
You
want me to read those
I think it's C. No, I think it's C. I think it makes you more of what you truly are.
That is correct. Let's look at the video answer.
So why do they pick these people? Because they were whores to start with, folks. But here's what money does. It does change you. But it makes you more of whatever you truly are. But you give a crackhead $1,000 today, and they may take it and go kill themselves with it trying to get more. You give Ted Fogg $1,000 right now, and you know what I know about him? Ted Fogg will go use it and get a new camera or some kind of gadget so that we can have better ads or do whatever and do what he's already doing. Neil Shelton will take that money and pump it toward the cause. That's exactly what he'll do. If you're hateful to start with, you're just going to be rich and hateful. But if you're giving, you're going to be more giving. These people, though, they go out and they find these people, and believe me, it's no accident that they end up with the horrors of the courts. Don't you think they went through everybody?
Yep. So legislators, especially governors, have quotas to meet. They must generate revenue and generally could care less about the process as long as the budget is in the black. They will blindly appoint people in all positions who will generate the most revenue with very little care as to how they generate it. So that is correct.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for playing.
Thank you for having me.
Judiciary. Usually I have a tiebreaker question, but this time it's going to be a New Year's song that I will sing, and I welcome you both to sing along with me if you would like. I haven't tried this before, Zoom sing-alongs. I've been trying to, so if you'd like to try, that would be great. And please, if you're comfortable, send me your address, or if you have a P.O. box. I use a P.O. box just because you never know. But, you know, I don't keep addresses. I generally delete them right afterwards. But if you send me your address, I'll send you the Marchus shirt. It's the original Million Parrot March logo on the front before the event was taken over. And then the Marchus logo on the back. They're really big logos. I should really have one of the shirts. The box I still have in my car. Everybody who came to the New Hampshire Christmas Suffrage March got a shirt. And if and when I am in New Haven, if you guys can make it, I'll give everybody there a shirt. I'm not charging anything. They're just, you know, left over from an event gone horribly wrong. But still, there are very few of these shirts, and hopefully years down the road, the few people who have these either, you know, helped or participated in this show, or went to one of these smaller events with me, and it'll be a great, you know, topic starter a decade from now if you have one of these shirts. So please, either of you, Chris or Niati, send me your address or a PO box or whatever, so I can get you one of these shirts. Or just remember that I owe you one.
Will.
Yeah, even if you know, if I see you in September and I have a few left over, or whenever the next Million Parrot March is, if there is one again, then I'll try to remember. If I have any shirts, I'll give them to you then. But please send me your address. So, if you guys remember, leading up, the last Wheel of Judiciary was before the New Hampshire Christmas Suffrage March, so I was singing songs, Christmas songs, parodies of those songs, and I really thought that there should be a New Year's song, even though we're not even quite to Christmas yet. I'm hoping that in New Haven we'll be able to sing these carols again, and also include this New Year's song. So here it is. This is called the New Year's song, and if you guys want to join in with me, I'm not the best singer in the world, but here it is. Turn this up. Should the Constitution be forgot and let families be destroyed? Jeff Sessions said that we should not, and this may help end family law. Now we will say the power grab from the lower courts must end. But the true enemy is revenue demanded by legislation. Incentives within corporations may help capitalism, but incentives used by lower courts will destroy our citizens. For what we're telling you is true. It is money that decides the ending of your family and society's demise. One will tell me that my son falls under their jurisdiction. We are willing to die for freedom and the ending of family law. Profiting off families will no longer be tolerated. If you can't stop, then Americans will put you all to an end. Yep. And that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
I would have sang it with you, but I was a page behind you the whole time.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. There is I could share the screen. We could try it again if you'd like. Can you see the screen?
I can barely see the screen, but I'd probably make your ears bleed singing anyway.
I'm sure I did. I do the best I can. I'm kind of like what's his face from Rancid when it comes to singing. It sounds good, but
no, you did a fine job.
Oh, thank you, Chris. I like it.
So what goes on now? Do you guys have conversations, or is the show over? Or?
It's completely up to you guys. Usually I try to keep the show down to an hour so people have more of a tendency to view it after the fact. 'Cause it's weird. Videos are strange, especially live videos. when you see that the video is live, but now it's over, people generally don't watch it. So I try to keep it as short as I possibly can. But if there's a topic or anything you guys want to talk about, I mean, we did get a chance to talk more than usual because of the glitches. I'm not sure how much of that got recorded. I'll have to go back and see. But we did have a chance to talk a lot. Is there anything that you would like to talk about?
I have something.
Yes.
Do you know Tim Schilling from Pennsylvania?
Tim Schilling, I know of the name. I know we're Facebook friends. I didn't even know he was in Pennsylvania, but
yeah, and I have not met him in person, but through the FCLU, the Family Civil Liberties Union, we exchange email, and he had submitted his civil complaint at the DOJ in DC, and he received a letter from the civil division because he mentioned he's not the only one going through like this. And with my complaint, I have included the letter he received because he gave me the PDF copy.
Okay.
And the division says that to Tim that if you know more people, give them this and let them send me here. So I would like either Tim to get involved or I can send you. He doesn't mind that. And whoever is submitting now with DOJ, let's everybody get that copy of the letter.
Yeah.
That way they will put everything connection that it's not only Niyati, it's not only Tim. And also he requested the Greg Roberts, he's the founder of FCLU, to put FCLU logo. Greg has not replied yet, but I still submitted mine. So if any of our organization wants to put logo, I think we should do it, and then we can circulate among anybody who wants to submit.
I'll try and contact Greg. I've only met Greg once.
Okay.
It was October. He's in Manhattan, and him and Sebastian, they put on an event in October of 2016, which I attended. Yeah. That's the only time I met them. But I know he's still very active, so... and those guys, from what I understand, that New York chapter of the FCLU, or the people like putting together the umbrella organization, a lot of smaller groups now fall under the FCLU, and I think that's fantastic, because any of us, as many of us as we can, working together is going to make far greater strides than working alone. And that's why I'm supporting Francesca. She seems to be bridging gaps. She doesn't care about all these stupid little infightings and the drama and all that stuff.
But she's a goer, you know. She doesn't stop until her mind tells her to stop.
Right.
And she never gets that stoppage, you know.
No.
So I'll send you the copy of Tim Schilling's letter and Greg's information. I have his email. And if you want to follow up and anybody wants to give me with logo, I'll still submit again when the new year begins.
Yeah. Well, if the DOJ asked one of us to file something to show how many of us are affected, then yeah, we should do that absolutely 100%. So I don't know if Tim Schilling is watching, but Niyati, if you send me any of that information, I'll reshare the complaint form along with whatever Tim told you to share along with it. Yeah. I mean, if they're saying to share everybody's complaint along with your complaint, then we should have, you know, a stack this high. We should be sending boxes, not letters, at that point.
That's what I was trying to do 2 sessions before, Neely was from our group, like Kirk was presenting. And Neely also mentioned in the comments that she's on the go. And I also mentioned. So I PM her. And that's what I want to do. Anybody gives me even the copy of PDF signed with blue ink, I will print it color here at my expense. And when I'm putting my complaint, I can just put your signature with your complaint, just to show them that it's a volume. It's not only me talking, it's a volume of people.
A volume of people.
Yeah, that's what we all need,
Yes, I agree. So Neati is offering to help you to file these things, to print things out for you, right?
Yeah, because this is here for me. I do everything in person, so I get the timestamp by myself.
Yep.
I always take 2 copies of original, one for them, one for me.
Because you are right in DC.
Yes, I'm in Maryland, so I can take metro to go to DC, and I like it, and I take a tour that day. After submitting, I treat myself, visit one of the historical monuments.
That's awesome. If I was there, I'd do the same thing.
Correct. But I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to postpone my complaint in case if I'm getting volume. Even if I get 3, 4, Veronica is working on. So I think Veronica, myself, Neely, I think we 3 are there. But we still want daddy to be involved, not only moms.
So maybe we should put an event together, a DOJ complaint event saying like... Right, and have all your complaints sent to you by this time, so the following day you can file them all or something.
Yes, and that will be good because hopefully I don't have a phone, but hopefully I can borrow a phone from a Dave, from somebody, and I can record and I can announce whose complaint is there, and that way we all look so organized and looking good.
Yes.
When they are seeing our videos, like the judges or the attorneys,
I think that's a fan freaking tastic idea. Or, so let's talk about this more privately. Like soon, within the next couple of days, my son will be here the day after Christmas. But I know Francesca. I'll be helping Francesca with the broadcast on Christmas.
Right.
So if, like she said, if you're missing your children, if do a video from their room or in front of the Christmas tree without them that day, and share it with her, or get ready to do the same thing live. It's going to be 11 o'clock Eastern time, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, on Punished for Protecting. And I can't wait for that. And then the following day, my son arrives, and then she has another broadcast on the 27th. And I'm not sure how many broadcasts will happen before the 3rd. And then the 3rd is the big event. And let me know if you're having local events on the 3rd in your town. That will tell me whether or not I should stay here and produce these things, or if I'm free to go to the event in New Haven. Either way, I'm happy. And then as soon as that event is over, I'm going to be MIA for a little while. I won't be able to produce anything until later that month or even early February, depending on how long I stay, because I want to go to Florida and spend as much time as I can with my son, since my ex-wife and I are getting along. I'll be able to, I still have friends in Florida, so I'm going to try and stay in the area for a few weeks and see my son every weekend, or even, spend time with him after school. And that's really something.
Don't worry about the video. Just go and have fun with the child, because he's building his memories,
Right.
And you need that, and he needs that for healthy living.
Yep. So if we can get anything started before then, if I can get Neati started on her DOJ complaint form project, that would be awesome. We'll get an event going. Again, if you want to do an event in your home area for the 3rd, let me know. Because if people really want to have events, then I think what I'd like to do is try to produce all the events, all these different events together somehow. I think that would be great. So please let me know what your ideas are, what your plans are. I'm going to work with Neati to get her her idea together, and we're going to have a great year. I really think that before the end of 2018, we're going to be seeing some tremendous changes in the lower courts. This is the year. This is our year, folks.
The FBI agent
I'm starting
down, the chief of the FBI, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was a good news too, because I have sent my complaint to FBI of Maryland. So hopefully, you know, I think all democracy candidates are getting off and Republicans are getting in.
Yeah. I think with a single party administration, our message is getting to the entire administration easier with a single party than if there was a completely divided party. Chris, is there anything that you'd like to say before we close up for the night?
Yeah, actually, I just became owner of a page. A gentleman started it here in West Michigan here back in 2010 and really did nothing with it. I finally got a hold of him, and he made me owner of the page. Cool. Brenda Johnson is going to be helping me with this page, and if Neati would like to get a hold of me, I would like to post some of her stuff on our page.
Sure.
And maybe vice versa. I'm trying to get something started here in West Michigan because nobody seems to want to do anything here in West Michigan. So I'm kind of like a firecracker that's going to fire everything up.
There is somebody in.
I would use.
Maybe it's
Chris,
Minnesota.
My husband moved to Michigan during our separation, and he married to his girlfriend. So I would love to hang out. So I really want to meet my husband. You know, he really cheated on me, and it hurts so much.
Yeah.
So anything I put on your site, if he's clicking on Michigan, he should see what I'm doing here.
There's also a fellow by the name of Mike Reapin up in that area. Maybe it's Minnesota. But he goes and talks to panels. He's pushed bills in his state, and I'd like to get him more involved in things. He was a guest on the show way back. So I'd like to put him in contact with you as well, Chris.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just starting this up. I'm a truck driver. I don't have a huge amount of time, but I'm able to pick my schedules, what I work. And I'm trying to get this fired up. It's taken me, I can't really do anything with it until the 28th of December.
Yep.
Because for some reason, when you change the admin, it makes you wait a certain amount of time. But he's got it started wrong, and he's actually called out this certain judge that is my judge. And I'm trying to redo the whole format of it. Just like I was telling Brenda, I want to bring into light that it's the whole front of the court and judicial system.
Yeah.
So
sounds great, man.
And not just one person.
Well,
so I'm trying over here.
Any page on a local level helps, because that gets people locally going. So let me know what I can do to help you. And it's
well, I sent you a friend's request, and like I said, if she could just click on my name and add me as a friend, I will accept her friend's request, and I really appreciate it.
The best thing to do is send a message, because I know I've got like 300 freaking friend requests, and most of them don't have a single friend in common, and it's hard to tell. So, but if somebody sends me a message that says, "Hey, I enjoy this or that," or "I want some more information," then I know at least, you know, it still could be fake, but
right.
But at least that way, I know they're putting out some effort there.
I lost the friend's thing. Could you spell her name for me?
Oh,
My name?
Niaty's name?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's pronounced Najin, like N-Y-E, right?
No. Actually, my Facebook name is NYJ space JYN.
NYJ is,
Right.
yeah.
And you will see me with my two boys. in the
Yep.
picture.
Yeah, and she's
Okay,
legit. If
NYJ
anybody's legit.
dash what?
Not dash, space JYN.
Yep. Look for NYJ,
GYN.
capital NYJ. Niaty is certainly legit. I didn't realize this, but we met a year and a half ago. And now just, putting the Facebook profile and the person I met together a year and a half plus later. That's pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, we are here too.
Well,
we'll bring changes. I know.
Yes. Well, I appreciate everything you do, Niaty. And thank you, Chris, for calling in. It's great
thank
to have
so
you
much
guys.
for having me. I appreciate it.
And yeah, get in touch with me privately. Again, you guys, there won't be another Wheel of Judiciary until the end of January, early February. I have some really interesting ideas about changing the show up a little bit. If you're somebody who likes watching videos and share those videos with me, get in touch with me, because I think I want to start incorporating more, not general news, but news that is relevant to what we're doing on a weekly basis. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks for watching Judiciary Saturday nights. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.
You all have a safe holiday.
Yeah, you too. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Swanza, whatever. I love you guys.
Same to you all. I love you guys, man. Have a good holiday. Bye-bye.